Hello, my lovely ladies. Welcome. Happy Saturday. Happy July. It is me, Victoria Baxter, here of the Saved and Single Ministry. I've been, of course, doing this whole the Saved and Single thing for a while now. I know I have a lot of new people that come to the page. I used to do videos every single Saturday, but with so many other different things going on as far as the ministry and the coaching business, now just once a month. So it is time for a new one. I'm also a certified life dating and relationship coach with New Thing Life Coaching. So I have the business separate from the ministry. All right. Listen, if you are not already, depending on where you are watching this video, come on into the SAS Tribe. That is a private group on Facebook. That is a community of single Christian women who are maybe in different seasons of our actual our different areas, should I say, of our single season, but we're all still single at the end of the day. And it's all about just encouragement and affirmations, motivation. Of course, with me being a dating and relationship coach, I like to provide tips and just all kind of different things, videos, prayer, the whole nine. You can subscribe to this ministry and you can support this ministry if you are led at www.thejalministry.com/saved hyphen single. Here's the link in case I screwed that up. Let me just put it out there for those who are curious. TSI, the Sassy Institute, the 12-month self-paced program that has been temporarily deactivated. All of the Bible studies are still available through the ministry, where again, you can name your own price to get access to that material. And again, it's also on the Saved and Single page, but all the actual courses are moving to New Thing Life Coaching. My business coach just stretched me like crazy a few months ago, but also helping me to realize like, hey, we just got to figure out when it's ministry, when it's business. So those courses were all 4-week courses that would actually take place on my digital teaching platform. So those are all going to be going to coaching. I'm getting all of that stuff straight now, but you can always, again, subscribe to the coaching business. I hate trying to mix all this stuff up, but whatever. I'm separating the two. So if you're trying to enroll in TSI, that's why it's no longer there. I'm still looking at ways to make the ministry bigger, and do more things. But of course, there's the blog, here's, the videos, the Bible studies and stuff like that. And then, of course, the private community, upcoming events once we can get rid of La Corona. But that's just that. Anyway, happy July. All right. And what I wanted to pop in and talk about today, something I'm realizing that a lot of my ladies are struggling with, would be loneliness. Loneliness is something that a lot of women are plagued by. And there's a difference between loneliness and single. All right. Single means you have no one. Lonely means that you are sad about being single. Lonely means that you are sad about not having anyone. That's also where it can even go into depression. All right. Loneliness stems from unresolved issues. It's something that's going on, because if it ever gets you to the point where you are that sad and frustrated about being single, there are things that need to be tended to and that need to be addressed. Loneliness is a symptom of something going on that is a little bit deeper. It could be abandonment. It could be rejection. It could be pain from your father. It could be heartbreak. It could be betrayal, low self-esteem. These are things that I have to help ladies with via New Thing Life Coaching when I'm doing one-on-one coaching, sessions and things like that, because at the end of the day, loneliness is a curse. All right. And I say this because, for one, Satan will absolutely use loneliness as a weapon. He uses isolation as a weapon, should I say. Separation, as we know, that is from God. God will set us apart because we are not to do things the way the world does things. He sometimes has that veil on us. We could be hidden in a certain sense, based on what God is doing. So it is separation when it comes to God. But Satan will make us think that we are set aside. Satan will make us think that we are isolated. Satan will make us think that no one wants us. And then we end up settling. Why? Because we see other men that are also in the set aside department. We see them over here in this cast out sea as well. And we assume, hey, well, no one wants him either. He's really not that bad. He'll do. We can make that work, because the kind of man I desire, I'll never really get with, or it's just not happening, or they all play games, whatever. Just sometimes we just feel like they're taking too long. We feel like God is taking too long. So we take matters into our own hands, right? And that's what happens when loneliness is a factor. And whatever it is that you're going through, we have to keep in mind that that is a dangerous area to be in. You know, when I wrote my book, and I know I included it in there, but there was a survey that was done that was examining why people were getting married. It was looking at why women wanted to get married and why men wanted to get married. Now, we got to look at marriage at the end of the day, right? We got to figure out exactly what is marriage for. A marriage is for, yeah, it's God said it is not good for man to be alone. It is about a man and a woman holding each other accountable to God. The man has a specific role, the wife has a role. They are to be mutually submitted. They should be submitted to God. And of course, wives, submit to your husbands. Husbands, love your wives. So we have these things that we are told, but it's crazy because we also have to keep in mind that the Bible also talks about, it is not good for man to be alone. I will create a helper, a helpmeet, one who is suitable for him. We are created to help. I know a lot of times we don't like to hear that. I know we don't like to think about that. We don't want to talk about it. We make it about, I want to get married because XYZ. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of being single. I want to have someone that I can have sex with and go on trips with and post pretty little pictures on social media with. I want to start a family. And all of those things are cool. However, at the end of the day, marriage is about holding each other accountable to God, having someone to do life with. Yes. And again, husbands, you are to love, you are to provide, you are to protect. Wives, you are to submit, you are to help, you are to run a household, all of those other good things. So when I wrote Debunking the Fairy Tale of Boaz, you can get that on the website. When I wrote that book, and when I was also looking at a study that was done, it was asking men versus women, why do you want to get married or why did you get married? Men actually in large numbers were saying that they wanted someone to love. They wanted someone to take care of. Whereas women were like, well, I want a friend. I want a companionship. I want to be with someone. And that there is a problem with that. All right. At the end of the day, there is a problem with that because it's like, funny enough, it's like it's showing that men, it's like in a sense they're getting it right, whereas like we just want someone who's going to put an end to our loneliness, and that's why we end up marrying wrong. That's why we end up in bed with men that we should not be in bed with. It's why we'll entertain our ex. It's why we'll go back. It's why we keep repeating some of these same toxic patterns and these unhealthy cycles and things like that, because we're looking at it from the wrong way. And that's just not how it's supposed to be. Very rarely do you ever hear a woman say, well, I want to get married because I want to help a man, because I'm ready to submit. I'm ready to help him with his plan and help him with his vision and do all of these different things. So it's like, here it is. We have women who are saying they want to get married and they're lonely, but it's like they're wanting marriage for the wrong reasons. Whereas men are like, hey, the Bible, Ephesians 5, it says, husbands, love your wives. And it's like a lot of these men are saying, what? I want a woman to love. I want somebody to protect. I want somebody to provide for. So we need to really check our motives at the end of the day when it comes to marriage, because as I've said before, there's the what and the why. A lot of times we put so much emphasis on the who we're going to end up with, who can do what for us, who can make us feel a certain way. Feelings change just like seasons, baby. Like we can't decide that we want someone who's going to make us feel all warm and fuzzy, because what happens when that fades? What happens when things come up? Are you going to just up and leave? Are you going to just up and walk away? Because that's what a lot of us do right now with relationships. That's what a lot of us do right now in the dating scene. That's why a lot of us don't even need to be dating, because we've gotten so accustomed to hooking up and connecting just to disconnecting. So we have it in our minds, if we're not happy, we need to go. That's not going to bode very well when you're actually in a marriage that is supposed to be committed and long term and for forever. Like, so these are things that we absolutely need to keep in mind and think about. So if you're experiencing loneliness and whatever now, you need to work on that. You need to work on that. And dating is something that should not even be happening, because it'll get you in a whole lot of trouble. It'll get you in a whole lot of trouble if you're out here making decisions based off of loneliness. Loneliness, it would lead to entertaining Nigerians in your inbox. Loneliness is what causes you to return to exes that were examples and bad experiences. Loneliness will cause you to be strung along by men via online dating. Loneliness will lead to you having sex just to fill a void. Loneliness leads to acts of disobedience, sex, pornography, masturbation, or walking with the wicked, like all of these things. And we know for a fact that, like, Deuteronomy 28, I don't know if you read it recently. Let's see if I can pull it out really quickly. Deuteronomy 28 actually talks about the curses for disobedience, all right? And it says, if you refuse to listen to the Lord your God and you do not obey all the commands and decrees I'm giving you today, all of these curses will come and overwhelm you. Your towns and your fields will be cursed. Your fruit baskets and breadboards will be cursed. Your children and your crops will be cursed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be cursed. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you will be cursed. The Lord himself will send on you curses, confusion, and frustration in everything you do until at last you are completely destroyed for doing evil and abandoning me. And I'm sure y'all are like, okay, it's really not that deep, sis, but it is though. It absolutely is. Because when we look at, again, me being a coach, so there's a lot of things that I hear and that I help women get delivered from and be free from. And what we don't realize is, again, a lot of the things that we end up doing, we're being disobedient. You know, I spoke about sexual immorality in the Sass tribe. That was the only place I posted that video. But even talking about, sexual immorality and talking about sex, when we look at masturbation, when we look at pornography, those are all sins. So if you engage in them, that means you are being disobedient. Psalm 1:1 talks about not walking with the wicked, being careful who we're actually tied to it. Corinthians talks about being, not being unequally yoked. So a lot of these things that we end up doing, even though the Bible says not to, that means we're being disobedient. That means we're absolutely being disobedient. And here we see, and that's just some of what I read. I mean, like, go through Deuteronomy 28. There's so much stuff in there that actually talks about the curses for disobedience. And the things that we end up doing out of loneliness shows even more that loneliness is a curse. And if I can get all deeply spiritual and whatever else, let me remind you that the only thing that is going to fill your void is absolutely going to be the Holy Spirit. We oftentimes make irrational decisions out of loneliness that show our impatience. Guess what? Patience is a fruit of the Spirit, along with love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness, and self-control. Patience goes along with that. Those are all fruits of the Holy Spirit. Fruits that grow on branches and branches that grow off of vines. And Jesus says that I am the vine and that we are the branches. So if we are not filled with the Holy Spirit, then guess what? Loneliness will be present. And you're now going to try to, on your own, produce things that only grow when you are connected to the vine. We will find ourselves tired and exerting all of this energy because we are trying to produce love. We are trying to produce joy. We are trying to produce peace, things that will automatically develop when we are connected to Jesus. Listen, you can want a relationship. That's not a problem. You can date, you can online date, you can get set up, you can enter a relationship, all of those different things. But the only thing that will fill loneliness, the only thing that will cure loneliness is God. Make no mistakes, I'm a dating coach and a relationship coach. So yeah, I help ladies with all of those things, dating and online dating and finding love and knowing what love is. I go through all of that. Absolutely. I will help you. It's not a trick, where it's like, oh, I'm a dating coach. I'm going to help you. But then as soon as someone, goes and pays their invoice, I'm like, all right, now here's the problem. You shouldn't be dating if you really had you. No, I'm like, all right, let's talk about your dating life. Let's set the tone. Okay, where do you go? What do you look like? We go through all of those things. However, I make sure that ladies actually, they've already met Jesus before they've met Justin. I make sure that they're filled with the Spirit before they allow themselves to get filled with Steve. Like, we got to go through all of these things first. We got to be filled with God. Isaiah 41:10 says, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. God is like, hey, I'm with you. You're not alone. Am I not enough for you? I'm your God. Like, I'm going to strengthen you. I will help you. I'm going to do all of these things if you would just rely on me. Deuteronomy 31:6, be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. God is like, I got you. I'm with you. What's the problem? Matthew 28:20 says, behold, I am with you always to the end of the age. Red letters. That's Jesus talking. He's like, I am with you right now. Do you not see that? Psalm 27:10 is a good one for my ladies that are dealing with abandonment issues, because it says, for my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in. Look, someone else may have abandoned you, but God hasn't. God didn't. And another reason that some of us are, so plagued by loneliness is because we were abandoned by our fathers, whether they were absolutely not in the home, they left the home, they died, they were there, but they emotionally abandoned us. They didn't really validate us and give us that acceptance and the things that we needed. So a lot of us, because of that love, it's hard for us to even accept the love from God. So we've kind of put God at a little bit of a distance, but we're trying to get a man to fill that void. I talk about pica a lot. Any of the moms, a lot of times when we're pregnant, we end up craving non-food items, right? Because for me, when I was pregnant with my son, I was craving baking soda, like literally eating baking soda out the cup. And a lot of people, it was clay, it's been cornstarch for some, baking soda, like all these other things. We crave non food items because it is our bodies telling us like something is missing. There's some type of a deficiency, typically iron or another vitamin. It's something that's missing that's causing you to crave something so badly that you should not be craving that way. So, what I've realized with a lot of women, when you are craving companionship and you are craving love and you are craving a man, like there's another kind of pica that I talk about, and that is present inadequacies caused by abandonment. Like somehow somebody abandoned you, you abandoned yourself, your daddy dropped the ball, your mom dropped the ball, your ex or somebody. So now you feel inadequate, or you now have issues, or you now feel insecure. You can make that I whatever you want it to be. But there are now some things that are present that are caused by you not getting what it is that you needed. Somebody else may have abandoned you or dropped the ball, but God did not. And again, make no mistakes. I am talking to those who are lonely. I see the post. I see women who are talking about, anyone else just over it, feeling like they'll never get married. Or I'm trying to be there for my friends. I'm tired and I'm frustrated. I'm so lonely. Anybody else lonely? That's a problem, sis. And you got to handle it. You got to handle that very, very quickly because it's going to cause you to make some god awful decisions if you're not careful. Listen, if you're lonely, you got to examine why. I'm always talking about like that drop down through method. Some of you probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it's like, what is that negative emotion? Now, what's underneath that? Because everything has something underneath. So if you're lonely, what's underneath that? Is it shame, frustration, isolation, neglect? What's going on? And is it triggering abandonment or even rejection? Because these are even deeper issues than in that case. And what I can absolutely guarantee you is that a relationship will not fix loneliness. That is a you problem. Happiness and contentment, that is an inside one person's job. A relationship won't cure any of that. And what I also need you to understand, especially for anyone dealing with fear of abandonment, that is something serious. Like I have this questionnaire when I start asking ladies, okay, have you ever done this? Have you ever done this? Is there ever a time that you've done this? Have you found yourself? Like it's crazy to see how many people are dealing with abandonment issues. And what I can tell you is that fear of abandonment can and will lead to abandonment anxiety in a relationship. And distrust will cause them to pull away from you because now you're like so afraid that they're going to leave you. So you're acting a little bit crazy. You're displaying abandonment anxiety. You don't trust them because that is something else that deals with, fear of abandonment. Now you don't trust them. Guess what? That man is going to pull away from you. And he's going to do exactly what you had fear of him doing, abandoning you. And then the cycle will repeat itself. Be mindful as far as that's concerned, okay? Loneliness is a curse, and I need you to do something about that. I need you to drop on your knees and pray like your life depends on it because it does. It absolutely does. I need you to pray. I need you to pray earnestly. I need you to pray fervently. I need you to pray sincerely. I need you to take this to God because if you're not careful, things will not get better for you. It's only going to get worse. You'll end up connecting with somebody that's like, somebody that's just like your baby daddy. And Lord knows we don't want any repeats of them. That wasn't a date. I don't want my baby daddy. He's awful. So just be careful. You got to let God fill up every single nook and cranny. You got to let him make it right. All right. That's all I got to say for a Sassy Saturday special. All right. Can you dig it? Listen, connect with me. Subscribe to the ministry, www.thejalministry.com/save-single. Those who are led, you can sow into the ministry. There are freebies you can grab. There's the blog. You can subscribe. You can purchase the Debunking the Fairy Tale of Boaz book. That is the ultimate single Christian woman's guide in her season of preparation. It's all about helping women heal from the past, find contentment in the present, all while preparing for the future. When you subscribe, you also get to stay in the know about upcoming classes and things like that. Like July 20th, I believe it is, for 2 nights, the good DWI. That's what we want to get caught with, discerning while interested. That is going to be a 2 night, a powerful class that is going to be about helping you use godly wisdom when it comes to matters of the heart. Because I always get like, how do I know if he's the one? I feel like God's not answering me. Well, this is happening. It doesn't line up with the list. Like, should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? Like, we're tackling all of those things in 2 nights. So you can also enroll in the class while they're at the site. Name your registration price. You get to handle all of that, whatever you want to do. But either way, God bless you. Don't be lonely. Pray and go to the Lord. All right. Y'all have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.